Different ways of making ethanol. Fermentation. Ethanol in alcoholic drinks is usually made by the process of fermentation. Fermentation uses yeast to convert sugars into ethanol. This reaction also produces carbon dioxide. This is the word equation of fermentation. The yeast that is used for converting sugar into alcohol contains an enzyme called zymase. This enzyme is very important in the process of fermentation. Fermentation will happen fastest at 30 degrees Celsius because zymase works best at that temperature. At lower temperatures, the reaction will slow down. If the reaction is too hot, then the zymase enzyme will be destroyed. Zymase works best at a pH of around 4, so if the solution is too acidic or too alkaline, it will stop working. It is important that oxygen doesn't get involved in the process of fermentation, as it converts the ethanol into ethanoic acid, which then lowers the pH and stops the zymase from working. When the concentration of ethanol reaches about 10 to 20%, the reaction will stop working or the yeast will have gotten all killed off by the ethanol. So, as to produce more concentrated ethanol, the fermented mixture can be distilled. For example, brandy is distilled wine, and whiskey is distilled from fermented grain. Distillation happens like this. 1. The solution of ethanol is put in a flask below a fractionating column, like the one you can see on the picture, which is covering my face. Then 2. The solution of ethanol is then heated up so that the ethanol boils. The ethanol vapor will then travel up the fractionating column, cooling down as it does so. 3. The temperature is set so that anything with a higher boiling point with ethanol, such as water, will then cool down and become a liquid and flow back into the solution at the bottom, below the bit below the fractionating column, as you can see on the diagram that is still on top of my face. 4. This means that only pure ethanol, which is basically ethanol without the water in, vapor can reach the top of the fractionating column. 5. The ethanol vapor then flows through a condenser which cools it to a liquid, and then the liquid is collected and a more concentrated and more pure ethanol solution has been made. Finally, is fermentation a sustainable process? 1. Will the raw materials run out? No. Sugar and beet and yeast grow quickly so they won't run out. 2. How good is the atom economy? The waste carbon dioxide produced will mean that the atom economy is low, and the reaction is even less efficient because all of the enzymes are killed off by the ethanol. 3. What is done with the waste products created? The waste carbon dioxide can be released without any processing. 4. What are the energy costs? Loss of energy is needed to keep the reaction at its optimum temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. 5. Will it cause damage to the environment? Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that will contribute to global warming. 6. Are there any health and safety risks? The chemicals and processes used in the process of fermentation do not have any specific dangers. 7. Are there any benefits or risks to society? Making ethanol does not have any impact on society, although drinking it does, but that is irrelevant. 8. Is it profitable? It really depends on what the ethanol is being used for, so whether it's being used as a fuel or as a drink.